This, my friends, is La Rinconada, a tiny mining town high in the Peruvian Andes. Tourists like to say it's the highest city in the world. Police know it as one of Peru's biggest hubs of illegal gold mining. Journalists call it the city of lawlessness. So why did I come here? You'll see for yourself. It doesn't look great, but in reality, just mud, exhaust, and trash everywhere.
The mine inside is on the brink of collapse. Total chaos. It's on the edge of disaster. And they're doing everything they can to cover it up. Hear that? A rock just fell. Listen.
Most of the time, miners work for nothing. No wages, no share of the gold, nothing. Human trafficking is thriving here too. He says in the evenings, this place is a nightmare. The only escape is to hop on a minibus and get out of this hell. Getting here in the first place isn't easy. It takes about 5 hours in a 4x4. I've arrived in the world's highest settlement, La Rinconada, sitting at 5,300 meters above sea level. It's the highest altitude hub of illegal gold mining, a dangerous, joyless place. It doesn't look great. Here are ruins, abandoned scraps, all clinging to the steep slopes. And down below, you can see lots of houses. Some people still live there, others are abandoned. But the view is undeniably breathtaking. The 2017 census counted around 12,000 permanent residents. But with the seasonal influx of miners, the number climbs to about 30,000. In the city center, there are a few buildings that look like proper houses. But most miners live in metal shacks like these, no windows, no real doors. From early morning till late at night, people work in the mines. They're run by a corporation called Corporación Minera Ananea S.A., represented by hundreds of subcontractors who hire workers. There are two kinds of workers here. The first are highly qualified specialists, foremen, engineers, drillers, but there are very few of them. The real driving force of production are the miners themselves, machine operators and laborers. They come to La Rinconada from all over southern Peru, hoping to make money and then leave, but for many, neither happens. Alcoholism and crime are widespread here, and here are the miners, drunk and unpredictable even in front of a camera. So these are the houses. Many stand abandoned, but some are still lived in. And right where the mines are, you'll see armed guards. Not just guards, but fortified posts, ready for shootouts. To be clear, criminals here don't come with knives. Everywhere are signs warning, leave fire. In front of every mine, sandbags and firing points set up for defense. Everything here is deadly serious. And this is how miners live, in brutal conditions. Honestly, if you live here, there's nothing else but drinking. Cold, poverty, crime. You'd ask yourself, why stay in a place like this? The answer is simple: gold.
Because I need a job, and here you can earn more.
Why does she work here? Because she needs money for her kids?
Yes, to feed our children, to give them an education.
The thing is, my father worked here in La Rinconada, and I keep doing the same because there's nowhere else like this. La Rinconada is the only place where you can work.
Mining is the backbone of Peru's economy. The country's exports total about $60 billion, and more than half of that comes from minerals. In 2023, this sector made up 58% of Peru's economy. Gold is one of the country's most valuable resources. Every month, gold sales bring in at least $1 billion. At today's pace of mining, reserves will last for years to come, worth around $150 billion. It was gold that became Peru's lifeline at the start of the 21st century. Back then, 60% of people in this vast, politically unstable country lived below the poverty line. But in the 2000s, gold prices shot up and kept rising for a decade. That's what triggered a true gold rush. The economic boom it created became known as the Peruvian miracle. During that time, just one international financial organization based in Washington invested $650 million in gold mining here. That meant 26 new projects and thousands of new jobs. But by the mid-2010s, gold prices fell. Even so, Peru's mines still employed around 1 million people nationwide. Of course, the work is brutal. Even in modern, well-equipped mines, it's tough and dangerous. But in La Rinconada, the risks are far higher. Landslides and floods constantly cause accidents. Breathing toxic gases can shorten a miner's life slowly or kill them in minutes by suffocation. Safety gear should protect them. But here, miners have to buy their own protective clothing and equipment. Some can afford it, others can't. So everyone goes underground with different levels of protection. Gold extraction here is done by hand. The lowest ranked workers haul ore from the mines, bring it to grinding machines and special mills, where mercury is used to separate the gold from the rest. Big contractors then take the ore to processing plants on the outskirts or ship it off to larger cities like Juliaca or Arequipa. Juliaca, by the way, is also very grim. I stopped there at the end of my trip, so we'll come back to it later. But the gold miners keep for themselves still has to be cleaned by hand and sold to local buyers at cut-rate prices. Some risk taking it to Juliaca to get a better deal, but on that road you can lose your gold, your money, and even your life. Keep in mind that miners aren't digging up gold nuggets here. They're chasing gold dust. After the ore is ground, mercury is added. It binds with the tiny particles, forming a little gold ball. Then it all has to be rinsed in water. Mining any metal requires enormous amounts of water, and gold is no exception. Finally, the mercury is burned off, the gold ball is heated until the mercury evaporates and only pure gold is left. This whole district is filled with ore-crushing yards, all in the endless search for gold. This is what it looks like, all these endless crushers. Every makeshift workshop here is crushing ore. Right out in the open, right on the road. They crush it, then they wash it, and there's mercury. Water flows in through these flexible pipes. They hang everywhere like vines, an endless network carrying water to all these sites. The only goal here is simple: get the gold, that's it. And here's the transport the miners ride. I just hope I don't get shot along the way. A white pit bull, if I'm not mistaken. No leash, guarding the gold. And here, these piles of dirty wastewater. It all drains into one place, spilling out everywhere. It's a nightmare. Of course, people breathe all of this in. Of course, the wastewater just runs off and spreads further. That's talking about ecology. What's left of it? It's shocking. The gold they find can be sold right here in town. There are special buying points for that.
How much do you pay for the gold? How much is 1 gram?
On average, it's $265.
And what are you paying right now?
About 65, maybe a little more. The thing is, quality varies. It can be red, green, or something in between. 3 types, but usually it's just one.
So higher or lower quality?
Yes, and that sets the price. It can go up or down.
And what was your biggest piece of gold you ever bought?
From one person, around 100 grams.
She wanna show you the gold now.
How heavy is it?
She's gonna show you in the way in the scale. Here.
In the center of La Rinconada, there are hundreds of tiny shops like this buying gold. Because aside from industrial mining, miners and locals also dig for themselves. Of course, the amounts are smaller. And then they bring it here to sell to dealers. Dozens of these little shops operate in town. Some even have security. And judging by how many there are, the volume of gold, both official and unofficial, is enormous. Speaking of security, even I had to hire 2 police officers to escort me through the entire trip. These are all gold buying points.
All these places,
They sell gold here.
they sell.
Dealers come here to sell it there.
All these little offices, they buy gold from the miners. You can just walk in and sell what you've got. Everywhere you see the signs, oro, oro, that's gold.
And why there's so many places who buy gold? Because
It's a good business.
no, they're all the same, or
Yes,
they
they're
suggest different conditions.
Different conditions. Yes, different places. There are different. Some of them they pay more, some less.
But how did it end up that miners are selling gold for cash? It doesn't sound very legal, and it isn't. Around 40% of Peru's gold is mined illegally. By some estimates, the country loses about $4 billion a year because of it. Since 2012, the government has tried accrediting mining companies. That means archaeological and environmental studies, a stack of paperwork, and proper safety for workers. But why bother when paying a bribe is cheaper? Or you just cut a deal with the local mafia? Buying illegal gold is one of Peru's most common ways of laundering money. Almost everyone wins. Cartels, mining companies, corrupt officials. And who loses? As always, the workers. And another thing, here you can't even stand up and film while driving. Right now I'm passing through settlements among the mines. And the police escorting me said, don't stand, don't film. Best case, they throw rocks. Worst case, they open fire. People here are tense. Why? Because of the sheer number of illegal mines, and they hate the attention of the press. Even having police in your car doesn't guarantee safety. Total chaos. And the miners themselves admit it. These days, they speak out on social media. I spoke about mining life with Juvenal Quispe, a miner and TikToker from La Rinconada, who I met in Lima.
My name is Juvenal Quispe. I'm 31 years old. I've been working in La Rinconada for 10 years at the highest mine in the world. I've worked for many years. My father and grandfather were miners for many years. Gradually, I decided to follow in their footsteps, and I'm still working in the mine today.
You're the most famous miner in La Rinconada. You've got your own social media, your TikTok. How does that help you at work? And how do your colleagues feel about your popularity?
In La Rinconada, literally everyone knows me. I'm the most popular here. At first, some didn't like me showing the reality of the mines here. It annoyed a few. But now I see other miners admire me and like me even more. They identify with what I show. They see themselves in it. They realize that being a miner is a profession. And that feels really good. You know, many miners always felt ashamed to show what a miner's life is really like. But I was the first to start sharing about La Rinconada, how the mine works, what goes on there, how we look for gold. What the job of a miner is really like. It's something that was always hidden from sight. Nobody wanted the world to know. Now many miners are filming too, because mine owners often don't want cameras near the shafts. And inside, the mine is literally on the verge of collapse. It's total chaos in there, right on the edge of disaster. And they try hard to cover it up. But I've always spoken about it. Even though they suspended me, even punished me for it. They paid me less, but I kept exposing it. Hear that? A rock just fell. Listen. For us, this is an honor. My name is Yuri Omuni Torres. And this is my colleague. I'm 28. And I'm 30. My name is Roberto Cutipa. I'm from Puno.
And what do you do here in La Rinconada?
We work as miners. Underground. We've been here for about 7 years. 4 years of real experience inside the mine.
Where did you work before coming here?
In our family, everyone was a miner. My grandparents, my father. So I just carried it on. It's the only job we have. Yes, same for me.
So it's a family profession. All right, let's get specific. How much do people actually earn working in these conditions?
It varies a lot. In La Rinconada, at a small mine, you can earn much more. In other places, you just get the minimum wage. And that doesn't cover a family's needs. Can you give us the figures? Figures. It depends. The difference can be huge. Some days we earn very little. Other days we make enough. I've never really given exact figures.
Miners here don't like talking about the figures. How much do you make in a month?
In money? Not much. Just enough to survive. It's irregular. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I don't know. So about the minimum wage here in Peru. Yes, about that. Sometimes a little more.
And how much is that, if it's not a secret?
1,000 sols. Sometimes a little more.
To get a straight answer about what they really earn, I had to play a trick. I threw out a number, what other miners had supposedly told me. On average, I said they claim they make about 3,000 sols a month.
Yes, that's the minimum here in La Rinconada. 3,000 sols. But that's just for a beginner. An experienced miner can earn anywhere from 10 to 20,000 a month. Some even make 50, 100,000.
The wild swings in earnings are easy to explain. La Rinconada has its own system for paying miners. It's called cachorreo. Legally in Peru, it doesn't exist. The way it works is this. Most of the time, miners work completely unpaid. No wages, no percentages, nothing. Instead, they get so-called days off. But those aren't rest days. On those days, they're allowed to mine in a designated area, and whatever gold they find, they keep. Depending on who you ask, the ratio of regular work to days off is 25 to 5 or 28 to 2. Some say even 30 to 1. Miners only get to work for themselves a handful of days each month. In theory, you could strike it rich in that time. The lucky ones talk about finding several thousand sols worth of gold in a good month. That's a few hundred US dollars. But most of the time, it's a lottery. You can easily put in a whole month's work and come out with nothing, sometimes 2 months.
How are you paid? Are you paid weekly, once or twice a month? It varies. Sometimes miners get sick from the smoke. Sometimes they can't work. So it changes. weekly or every 2 weeks, depending on the situation. There's cachorreo and also cuñaseo. Under cachorreo, it runs about 8 days.
It sounds complicated. Let's break it down.
This is how the mine in La Rinconada works. You can work for the owner for 20 days or 30. And then the owner gives you 3 or 4 days to work for yourself. Those days are just for the miners. But in recent years, things have changed. Now people often work 50-50. Half the time for the owner, half for themselves. That's considered a good way to make money here in La Rinconada.
In 2019, researchers from the University of Antwerp surveyed 150 miners here. 2/3 said they were satisfied with this system. They say cachorreo gives them a sense of freedom. Some admit to trying to cheat, like hiding gold they find on the owner's days and then accidentally discovering it on their own days. But what really drives it all is belief in luck. Miners stay optimistic. They hope they'll be the ones to strike it rich and on the right day. So, for half the month you work for the owner and he doesn't pay you. And for half the month you work for yourself?
No, he doesn't pay us anything, nothing.
What's the biggest piece of gold you've ever found?
One evening I found my biggest piece, 150 grams. Back then, it was worth about 27,000 sols. Today, that would be 270,000 sols. Much more. It was worth far more. 150 grams, that was my biggest find in a single day.
Stories of chunks of gold are impressive, but are those profits worth this kind of life? The conditions are awful. Mud everywhere, exhaust fumes, trash scattered all around. People breathing coal dust, contaminated water. And just now a guy with a gun looked at me like he was ready to shoot. Clearly not happy. He's sitting there in his little fortified booth watching. So work in the mine is one thing, but what do miners actually spend their hard-earned money on? Here we've got this small market. If you're freezing, you can buy something warm. And wow, even flowers. I can't imagine who needs flowers here. Here's some meat. And notice, friends, despite all the gloom, there's music playing, and the streets are even decorated with ribbons. Wow.
Who is it? What the monument?
It's a miner.
Miner.
And here, look at this. A whole fruit stall, something you don't expect to see here, a kind of luxurious fruit display where you can buy all sorts of treats. This is the central square. As midday approaches, more and more miners gather here. After a hard day's work, they come into town to relax. La Rinconada isn't exactly rich in services or entertainment. Right now, I'm standing in the very square where all the important events of this place happen. Mostly the summer carnival or public funerals of prominent figures, and everyone comes out to watch. Over there is the local administration building, a kind of ghost of legality in this godforsaken place. No banks here, only money exchangers. Instead of a real prison, there's a tiny holding cell. So in this urban surrogate, the main distractions are the countless eateries and clubs. All food and drink is, of course, brought in from outside. Nothing grows or is produced in La Rinconada. The square itself looks nice enough. Behind me, 2 policemen are following, because locals say you simply can't walk around here without police. Too many drunk, unstable miners. Anything can happen. Even the guide interpreter refuses to work without security. So, hopefully the escort helps. People here are aggressive. You can feel it. Every reaction is tense, nervous. This is the city center. These houses are considered good ones, not just sheet metal, but brick with real windows. By local standards, this is upscale housing, where the families of wealthy miners live. Or skilled specialists brought in from outside. There are hotels here too for visitors to this wonderful city. Minibuses pull in here, it's like the local bus station. You can board one and leave this hell behind. But look closer. There's garbage everywhere, the smell of rot in the air. Waste just piling up in the streets, hanging off the corners. And in the middle of all this, people are trading. So that's the center. Now let's look at the outskirts.
This cave is a golden mines. Many years ago they work in here, they extracted the gold from here. But now, no. It's just closed. They abandoned it. Probably they moved to another places in La Rinconada.
Okay. And this is a common residential district where the miners live.
Normally they were living here, but no anymore.
Ah, now it's also
Abandoned.
abandoned.
It was almost 15 years ago. This town, the population of this town was more than 50,000 people. 50,000. But no, many of them, they just live. Because one problem was too dangerous, the conditions of the work was really bad. Houses here, abandoned.
Who better to ask about how the city is run than the officials themselves? I managed to meet with Fidel Noa Quispe, deputy governor of La Rinconada. If some neighborhoods become abandoned, do you have plans to demolish them?
In fact, there has already been destruction by the mining corporation. They've already torn down some houses. But other houses were destroyed by criminals. They broke in, did all sorts of things. That's why people, out of fear, returned to their villages.
There really isn't much entertainment here. But even in a place like this, miners find ways to pass their free time. What entertainment is there?
Well, every week we work, that's okay. Yeah, it's okay, we work 4 hours. After work, we go out to play. And then maybe have a drink with friends. Hold on, buddy. But if you have a family, you go straight home. That's it?
Speaking of entertainment, yes, there is some. Like slot machines. All crammed together. Did we win? We didn't. That's it? No more buttons to press? Looks like we lost. No luck. And how else do people relax in La Rinconada? The same way as everywhere else on the continent. They play football or just watch others play. In 2024, the European and American championships were held simultaneously, but the Argentina-Colombia final drew more than 2 million more viewers than Spain's triumph over England, because in South America, football is practically a religion. Even here in the Peruvian highlands, there's a football field. The turf is artificial because at 500 meters above sea level, not a single blade of grass can grow.
Here, at 5,000 meters, we're from Puno, and we play football. It's the king of world sport.
Okay. I think it's not only football.
After work, when we've given everything, our friends call us out for a drink. We don't drink that much, it's more about talking. That's our rest after the hard labor we put in day after day. That's how we unwind. We try to behave sensibly. Just chill out a little. And football? Yes, we play football too, far from here. With this weather, at 5,000 meters. Say hi to Shevchenko. He's Russian, isn't he? Shevchenko, from the national team? Shevchenko, he's Russian. Tell him.
But Shevchenko is Ukrainian.
Damn, I messed that up.
Peruvians love sport, and not just football.
How do you relax? What do you do to take your mind off things?
I go play volleyball, nothing more.
Do you play with your friends?
Yes, with my neighbors.
People also go to the gym. This is what the wonderful local gym looks like, where people train to have more strength for the mind. The gym costs just 5 sols.
I work in the mine here. In the mornings, I always come to train. It's my passion. It's important to stay in shape, to keep pushing. And of course, it makes me more resilient, because here, at this altitude, there's just not enough air. When you exercise, you can open up your lungs more, breathe properly.
Is it only one gym in Rinconada?
As far as I know, there are 2, this one and another one higher up.
But it's not popular. No, not many clients here.
No, now, like, because the people, they are working now.
At the evening, there will be more people.
Of course, much more in the evenings. Miners come. During the day, it's usually just women or people not working the mine at that time.
How much do you pay for the gym?
5 sols a day, around 90 for the month.
And for how long you live in Rinconada?
6 years.
6 years. You like it?
Yes, by now I've gotten used to the job.
After an intense workout, a shower would be great, right? But here, showers aren't simple. Rinconada has no heating. No running water, no sewage system. Until recently, not even electricity. And year-round, it's cold. The warmest average temperature ever recorded here, plus 11 degrees Celsius or 52 Fahrenheit. And in the coldest months, it drops too, but to minus 11 Celsius or 12 Fahrenheit. The average yearly temperature is just 1.3 degrees Celsius, 34 Fahrenheit. For those living in the north, that might not sound so bad. But imagine, in the entire city, not a trace of heating. Drinking water comes from a nearby glacier. But because of the heavy metals used in mining, all the snow and ice here are laced with mercury. You have to hydrate constantly. Living at this altitude brings mountain sickness. Not just headaches and thickened blood over constant trips to the bathroom. 1 in 4 residents of Rinconada suffers from chronic altitude sickness. 76% report breathing problems, back pain, skin rashes, urinary tract infections, eye problems, stress. In the long run, the illness can be deadly, but locals have no choice. They drink poisoned water and breathe poisoned air. How much is the toilet?
Around 3 cents. Here, take some paper.
This is what a public toilet looks like. Fairly big and surprisingly clean. Clean, if a little dark. And there are quite a few like this around town. And here's a public laundry. Well, you drop your clothes off and they wash them for you. Here's another one, and another. Considering people just leave their clothes in bags, at least no one steals them, unlike gold.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, laundries are everywhere. We're walking down what you could call a relatively clean street. Because once you turn into the alleys, it's chaos. A hellish mess, trash piled everywhere. Even though the air is cold, waste still rots. And the smell is suffocating. The whole picture is bleak. A city with no sewage system, no heating, a half-baked approach to garbage collection. And historically, it's understandable. Rinconada was never meant to be a real city. Only mines, only shacks. That's why no one ever set up a landfill, not even a basic one. The peasants and adventurers who came here in the 70s and 80s just dumped their waste wherever they pleased. And in the decades since, miners have kept the tradition alive. Now the outskirts of Rinconada are one massive dump. Here's the road into town. Year after year, the problem gets worse. And as garbage ages, the stench only deepens. At some point, they decided to bury part of it and burn the rest. But burning waste eats away at the already thin oxygen in the mountains. Breathing becomes even harder. Altitude sickness symptoms intensify. A rare case where an environmental disaster hits people immediately, not in decades, but now. But the locals simply have no other method, and no one is rushing in to help. Just so you understand, from here to Rinconada is about 5 kilometers. And along those 5 kilometers, one continuous garbage dump. You can't imagine the scale. Birds circle overhead. On this side of the road, on that side of the road. As far as the eye can see, there's trash everywhere. It's all full of trash. Even more striking, the tons of garbage dumped straight from the mountainsides rolling down into the valleys. Why is the situation so bad? And are the authorities doing anything?
Well, this mountain of garbage is what it looked like before. Now they say it's better. Only 30% of the waste remains. Yes, it's better, because before there was even more trash. The authorities don't really care, because in the end, there's nowhere else to put it. There's the hill. Its peak towers above the city, and wherever there's space, people throw their trash.
The landfill doesn't just surround, the city itself looks like a landfill. Look between the houses, there's so much rubbish. These are residential blocks, and every gap, every hollow, every open patch of ground is stuffed with garbage. It's strange, isn't it? If people live here, if they earn from gold here, you'd think they could figure out some system for waste disposal. But here's what really happens. Trash is just dumped outside. And then when it piles up, people push it down the slopes, straight off the mountainsides. No one takes it away, no one manages it. No one cares, the result is grotesque. The sheer volume is staggering.
What is the situation with garbage? Because as we can see, there are lots of garbage on the streets, and it looks like people threw it from the mountains. It looks terrible. What do you think? And are there any plans to improve the situation?
The reality is simple. There are no garbage trucks. No project, no budget, no state support. At best, once in a while, a cart shows up to collect some waste. If it has fuel, and usually it doesn't. There's no state project nor budget, so the garbage wins. Residents do what little they can. They tidy up here and there.
But I don't believe a few volunteer cleanups can solve this issue. And you've probably realized by now, ecology isn't the only problem here, it isn't even the biggest one. In conditions like these, life expectancy hovers around 35 years. Medieval numbers. Why? Because La Rinconada is the perfect storm. First, the natural environment. Oxygen here is only half of what it is at sea level. Pair that with mercury in the drinking water, and no wonder. In 2019, over half the population said they feared for their health. Second, the work itself. Almost everyone here is in the mines, and accidents happen with brutal regularity. You don't hear about them, because families are paid to keep quiet. To cope with altitude sickness, locals chew coca leaves. But when it comes to crushed limbs or broken bones, they have to go to what passes for medical care. There's no hospital here. Only pharmacies and a small first aid post set up in the late 80s or early 90s. And many of the patients aren't there for altitude sickness at all. They're there for knife wounds, gunshot wounds.
And what do you think? How dangerous is this place? From 1 to 10.
I know 9.
9.
I know. Because the people, they describe is super dangerous, more at night.
That's why you want to live before darkness.
Yes. Yes, that's it.
He's cautious. To call La Rinconada unsafe would be an understatement. Authorities even recommend that anyone planning a visit first check in with the police in Juliaca, the nearest major city, just in case. Here, people are strongly warned not to leave their hotels after sunset and never to approach the mines at night. In the last 2 months of 2023 alone, 12 people were caught here. In the first 2 weeks of 2024, 2 more. The situation keeps getting worse.
Yes, crime rate is increasing. Our people are being killed day and night here in La Rinconada. We are fighting alongside the authorities, trying to keep the path straight so we can defeat crime. We ask for more police patrols, better lighting in the most dangerous areas, and cameras too. Ordinary people are at risk.
One case speaks for many. On August 18, 2024, the bodies of 4 miners were found outside the city. The attackers had taken all their gold, the victims were buried, but the culprits were never caught. Armed robberies happened both in town and on the roads, especially against those hauling their gold to Juliaca. Violence here is so common that locals have built their own theories and even legends. Some say the place is cursed. Others blame mercury, claiming it drives people mad. Realists say the real problem is greed and alcohol. Whatever the cause, each year there are about 1,500 cases of domestic violence. Add to that, brawls, stabbings, even human trafficking.
Rinconada is known as a very dangerous place. Why and what do you think about it? Is it dangerous or not?
In recent years, crime here has exploded. The old ways, what our fathers and grandfathers lived by, are long gone. La Rinconada is sliding downhill. Strangers come here not to work the mines, but with very different intentions. Contract courts are happening too.
Have you ever been attacked or robbed?
Yes, inside, while working. It's almost like a tradition. We live with it. That's how it is now.
What happened?
Right now, we can't go into detail. We avoid talking about it because if someone sees this video, we might run into them later. We don't really know how things work here. If they see us, they'll recognize us immediately. They'll say, "I don't believe him."
Yuri and Roberto refused to speak on camera about the attacks they suffered. Another person I spoke with wouldn't even show his face. This will be an unusual conversation because under no circumstances do they want to be filmed, not even from behind. I tried to convince them, but they said, "We can't. We still have to work here. It's too dangerous." So we'll talk through an interpreter. He'll ask the questions and pass on the answers. Can you ask them, what crimes happen here most often?
Murders, constantly in the mine.
Inside mine?
Yes,
not,
inside.
Not our side, not on the way when they want to sell
It's
the
most
gold.
common more inside.
Inside. How can they get inside if there's security?
Because there are almost 20 people with guns.
So it's a group of people,
Yeah.
and they can shut security and go inside
Yes.
mines and take the gold.
Yes, sir.
How often it happens?
How many police officers are in La Rinconada?
Around 80.
And are 80 police enough to control the situation, to prevent crimes?
No.
So you need more?
Yes, there aren't enough.
Can you tell us about your equipment? What kind of weapons do you have?
Military grade, with long-range scopes.
As you can tell, things here are very serious. Almost everyone I spoke with said they don't feel safe in La Rinconada.
Can you describe me the situation? How safe is the city? What can happen? Because I know it's a very dangerous place. You can be kidnapped. You can be I don't know what can happen here.
It's dangerous here. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 9.
Do you know anyone who's been attacked?
Who've been attacked here?
I know several. Assaults, armed robberies, murders. I've lost friends here. And relatives too, caught in the violence. And the reason for the killings? Gold, always gold.
I've seen armed men at the entrances of many mines, with fortifications and all that. Doesn't that protect you? Don't they help?
That security service? It's hired by the mine owner to keep outsiders from taking a share of the profits. But really, it's more for show. Sure, they control a few things. But the real danger comes from those we call the cousins. They slip in from other mines. They've carved their own tunnels, moving underground from one mine to another. They're underground.
How safe it for you? Do you feel any dangers? Can you, for example, work at night, and what could happen with you here?
I'm scared here. After 9 in the evening, I don't go out. By 10, I'm already inside.
So it's dangerous.
Well, yes.
But people get used to anything. Some optimistic miners are convinced that caution is enough to keep you safe.
It's not so dangerous here if you value your life and take care.
Why then does everyone say it is dangerous? I spoke with others, and they all said La Rinconada is very dangerous. We interviewed others, and they said it's dangerous.
Well, yes. But it's not dangerous if you're careful. If you're careless, then yes, it's dangerous.
I was surprised by such nonchalance. But Peru has its own atmosphere. Take this year's Halloween in Lima, for example. Police dressed up as Wolverine and Deadpool caught 4 dope dealers. The costumes kept the sting operation secret until the last moment. And while waiting for the suspects, they even had time to hand out candy to kids. But the adult sweets were 54 packets of cocaine. But that's the capital. In La Rinconada, I haven't seen any costumed, cheerful police officers. As if violence weren't enough, human trafficking thrives here too. Newcomers and the inexperienced are warned, don't walk alone. Kidnapped people are sold into forced labor or for their organs. But most often they end up as victims of sexual exploitation. According to Peruvian police, 79% of all kidnapped people are forced into slavery. A 2022 study showed that 80% of the victims are women. Half of them were between 15 and 25 at the time they were taken. 20% were even younger. In La Rinconada, women working in the SX trade can be seen daily, inside nightclubs or outside hotels. Some hotels still house minors or the occasional tourist, but others have been taken over by brothels. From time to time, Peru's national police report on raids. In 2022, law enforcement freed 96 women from 11 different nightclubs in La Rinconada. All had been kidnapped. 1 was underage. 26 were foreign nationals from Venezuela. But fighting slavery systematically is difficult. Sometimes even officials are part of the schemes. In April of this year, during a trafficking investigation, police uncovered links to the mayor of La Rinconada. He had been protecting a shady nightclub called Casa Verde. For looking the other way, he demanded 35,000 sols, just over $9,000. But then the deputy governor told me a completely different version of events. Honestly, it's hard to believe.
As I know, in April, the previous mayor was arrested because of his relation with nightclubs. As I understand, he gets some money from that. What do you think about it? Is it a common situation in your city?
Yes, that's exactly how it was. The mayor is now in prison, supposedly for taking a 50-sol note from a woman who said it was just for bus fare. He didn't suspect anything, even refused at first. What happened next? Well, it was over money. I don't know the exact amount. But he went to jail on corruption charges.
Those same bars and clubs where shady business happens look harmless enough during the day. And here's a street with bars. They're really just little rooms. Some plastic chairs, a few beers, maybe music playing. But as night falls, people start to gather, and this place quickly loses that friendly look. Yes, at night it's no longer so safe. These are the bars, small and cramped. If a woman in La Rinconada isn't trapped in sexual slavery, then she's most likely a PERU'S. Paquera mine gold, but in a very unusual way, known as peco. Rising above the La Rinconada mine is a mountain range called Sleeping Beauty. Its outline looks strikingly like a woman lying down. The miners believe Sleeping Beauty is jealous and won't let other women steal her gold. So women are forbidden from entering the mine. Instead, trucks dump boulders from the mine at the foot of the hill. These rocks may hold traces of gold, though not much. To find it, women spend hours on their knees, hammer in hand, breaking stones apart. That's their work. Even harder and less rewarding than what the men do. It's taken up by devoted wives who came here with their husbands, or by desperate single mothers who see no other way to feed their children.
What does she do here?
I work here.
What are you collecting?
Minerals for grinding.
They take it to the mill and crush it all.
So she tried to find gold by herself here. Okay. Did you find something today?
Yes, a little. Just enough for food.
And how much gold you usually find?
Sometimes there is, sometimes not.
How many hours in a day you work?
All day.
There are actually quite a lot of women working here. I thought it was rare, but looking around, there are crowds of women on these dumps, hammering away at rocks, hoping to find something. It's back-breaking work. I can't imagine how they live, how they manage. It's a nightmare. And all of it for maybe 800 souls a month. Truly hellish work in hellish condition. And here they are, walking along the road, with their day's haul. Men and women, even grown children. Everyone in La Rinconada survives only by God's grace. Though here, the gods are their own. Yes, the town has a regular Christian church and a Seventh-day Adventist temple. But far from civilization, old legends are still passed down. Miners who risk their lives every day are deeply superstitious. For example, they believe that the day all the ice in La Rinconada melts will be the end of the world. Locals also believe in mysterious guardians, who must be appeased or misfortune will follow. Idols have been raised in their honor called Los Abuelos, Spanish for grandparents, the spirits of the ancestors. Dressed in miners' clothes, these idols are given offerings by the miners. It's believed grateful spirits will help them find more gold. Offerings include alcohol, cigarettes, coca leaves, anything linked with leisure and vice. Because the spirits mock respectable family men, trick them, even send them fake gold. But they approve of indulgence and debauchery. So some believers go to extremes, bringing virgins' underwear to the idols, even making blood sacrifices.
In the La Rinconada mine, there are customs like this that go back to colonial times. Here the belief is, if we believe, it will happen. Our wishes come true. We have Tuaquita, the Sleeping Beauty, of the La Rinconada mine. Of course, that's what I believe. I believe it strongly.
Well, what did you bring them?
Those abuelos outside, I brought fruit. A bit of everything. Coca, cigarettes, caña grain, a piece of gypsum, candies. We bring a little of everything. It's like giving them meat. I also filmed scenes showing women's underwear. It was an offering to the abuelo. Each miner has his own beliefs about how to find gold.
Yes, I've read that these idols don't favor family men. They don't like people like you. Idols actually get in the way of mining. They reward vice, so people bring them alcohol, cigarettes, women's underwear. Some even say blood sacrifices are made.
That's for sure. If a miner offers the underwear of a virgin, he's said to find gold. It's like making a pact with them.
How often do you bring such offerings to the idols?
These beliefs go back to colonial times, and miners say they worked helping them find plenty of gold.
Among my interviewees, there were also devout Christians.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, we believe fully. We are Christians. We have faith. God protects my family. Every time before going down into the mine, we pray for His protection.
Do you go to church?
Yes, on Sundays with my family.
Still, faith in Jesus coexists easily with these superstitions.
Okay, what do you think about belief that women can't go inside the mine?
That's been around since the miners first came. They say when Mother Nature, whom we call La Huicha, enters the mine together with a woman, there will be conflict. The first will grow jealous, because both Mother Nature and the woman are La Huicha. They cannot be there at the same time. That's why women are forbidden.
Religion, spirituality, daily life, even ecology, everything in La Rinconada revolves around the mines. Absolutely everything here is tied to gold and its extraction. Not everyone can endure it. Many dream of leaving.
Do you want to stay here long?
Actually, I'm only planning to stay this year, no longer.
Even the most hopeful don't wish this life on their children. Would you want your kids to follow in your footsteps, to become miners in La Rinconada?
No, maybe if they became mining engineers, specialists of some kind, but not to work like me. At the very least, they need to see another path. As a parent, I have to show them something different.
But the problem is that the power of gold doesn't end at the edge of La Rinconada. Illegal mines are scattered across Peru. More examples of lawlessness, exploitation, and abuse take the infamous mine in Madre de Dios. For it, 24,000 hectares of forest were quietly cut down. The gold from such mines ends up in bigger cities like Juliaca. But before Juliaca, I stopped in a small town called San Antonio de Putina. Just like in Bolivia, here you see dolls hanging from poles. Another kind of community justice. It's a warning to crooks, this is what awaits you. I stopped in the town for a quick bite, and sure enough, there he was, hanging. Don't misbehave or you'll share his fate. Minibus drivers call out for passengers. This is what the town looks like. By the way, this is the district capital, not just some village. Interesting detail, here tuk-tuks are closed up because of bad weather. You won't see the open ones you'd find in Asia. They sell all sorts of vegetables here. The local staples, potatoes, beans, corn. The real Peru is very different from the tourist one. In Arequipa, for example, where tourists flock, you see luxury five-star hotels, fine dining, world-famous cuisine. Here, you can't even find what you'd call a proper meal. The locals get by, of course, but it's all very simple. No services, no decent places to stay. Maybe some yogurt to buy. Everything is scarce. The last stop on my journey is Juliaca. This is where miners come to sell their gold for a better price. There was a light rain, really just 3 drops, but the whole city flooded. Turns out no one in Juliaca imagined it could rain. And now people are trying to get through without ruining their sneakers. No, it's all very charming, of course. A woman with a mop is trying something. But how do you even cross the street here? It's hard to understand what the road crews in Juliaca are thinking. Why isn't there any drainage, storm sewers, or grading to let the water run off? We all know water is the main enemy of any road surface. You won't find golden luxury in these mining towns. The gold dug up in La Rinconada leaves Peru, first to Bolivia, and then on to Switzerland, the US, and the Emirates. The trail of bloody Peruvian gold leads straight to companies you know well: Tiffany, Samsung, even Apple. Turns out, friends, Androids and iPhones do have something in common. But despite big investigations, nothing really changes. Life in La Rinconada goes on as usual. And when you look at it all, you can't help but wonder what people are willing to sacrifice for gold. They've ruined the environment completely. And the people themselves work in horrific conditions. Polluted water, mercury, dust. The very air they breathe is poison. It's a nightmare. And for what? For a yellow metal we just lock away in vaults, comparing who's richer. It can't be eaten, it doesn't bring happiness, it doesn't heal. It just piles up in state reserves and no one can really say why. And people are destroying themselves for it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Share it on Reddit and send the link to your friends on WhatsApp.